What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for November 25th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of Victory Monday. Very good win out in LA last night, 37-20. Saquon Barkley was otherworldly last night. The defense was outstanding. It did come at a cost, though. Brandon Graham likely out for the season with a torn tricep. I guess he's the one that said he was out. I guess a lot's going to be determined based on the severity of it. He did a little research. If it's completely torn, it's like at least a 6-month injury. If it's just partially torn, it could be a few weeks. So I guess we'll get more information on it today. Well, it's a huge loss. I mean, he's been playing like he's found the fountain of youth. Obviously, he's a leader in the locker room. So we'll have more on Brandon Graham tomorrow once we get some more clarity on the injury. But back to the game, Saquon Barkley already has his career high in rushing yards. He had 300 total yards from scrimmage yesterday, smashing the Eagles team record, 255 rushing yards. That also is an Eagles team record. Just ridiculous game by Saquon Barkley. AJ, in case you missed this, had 100 yards himself. Jalen was just very smart with the football. Overall, a good win. I know on one of my text chains we were talking about where was Zach Bond, but it did seem as though a lot of the plays were going more toward Nakobe Dean, who stepped up and had a good game himself. So I don't think that's anything to worry about. One thing, I mentioned this last week, and I'm going to mention it again. The refs were terrible. And honestly, they were terrible on both sides. But there has to be something done in the NFL where teams can challenge certain penalties. And I don't know if that means just adding an extra challenge. I don't think you need to do it every time, but just expand what can be challenged, because those were some ticky-tack pass interferences. And then the one that they called on the Eagles with Slay was just, I mean, yeah, he got beat, but I mean, I don't know if he hooked him. The one where the Eagles got the call in the end zone, that was kind of questionable too. And then it was like the makeup call because Landon Dickerson pushed, like, the refs have made themselves more of the story. And I usually don't, I don't ever blame a game on a referee, because I think if you, like the Eagles did last night, if you make enough plays, you take the refs out of it. But man, it was just brutal. So I would love to see them expand it. All you need to do is add one more challenge per team, keep everything else the same, and allow them to review. Like, maybe it's just pass interference. Maybe, because I think holding might get a little dicey, but like holding or pass interference, offsides, even false starts, things like that. It was brutal. It was absolutely bad. But the Eagles survived, came out with a 37-20 win. We win our bet to move to 6-5 on the year. That late touchdown by Stafford blew the under. That was a dead under game too. But that's all right. We survive. We move on. But let's take a look at the 3 keys from yesterday and how the Eagles did. I said the first key was protect Jalen Hurts and allow him to make smart decisions and make plays. The offensive line only allowed 1 sack. Jalen did a nice job reading the pressure and running and picking up first downs. No turnovers. He made good throws when he had to. One thing I'd like to see changed, and we were talking about this as well, there was just too many design runs. Some of them worked, obviously, but at the worst times, I don't like the so many called quarterback runs. Let Jalen do his thing. Let him read the pressure. And then each time, and you saw, like, he's getting 10 yards a carry when he's taking off and running. But to call the design runs, it just seemed like they were not working the way they were drawn up. But overall, they protected Hurts. Smart game by him. Good decisions, and it opened up the game for Saquon, who just ran wild. We talked about Mishkov Mania running wild. Saquon mania ran wild all over LA last night, and it was great to see. Wonder how John Mara is doing with his sleep today. Wonder how much sleep he got last night. Second key to the game, pressure Stafford. They got 5 sacks total. Didn't force him into turnovers, but after a rough first 2 drives, the first one they got the fumble, which another one, nobody was even looking at Sirianni threw the challenge flag. Yes, it was sort of late, but the Rams knew it. That's why they were running up to the line, and the refs just completely missed the flag. Like, the refs need to be better. But after that rough first 2 drives, that defense, you got to love how Vic Fangio, he certainly made the adjustments and just figured out what he needed to do, and they were physical. The secondary played well for the most part. I think when Isaiah Rodgers came in after Slay left with the concussion, they picked on him a little bit, and Nakua got a few long catches, but it's tough, especially I would think as a defensive back, it's tough to go into the game cold like that. We've seen Isaiah Rodgers play better when he knows he's going to be the starter, which he could be the starter next week in Baltimore. But like I said, I think it's tough for him coming in like that. I think they adjusted well, and they just kept the pressure on them all night. Jalen Carter is an absolute beast. More on him in a minute, but overall, they did what they needed to do on defense and kept the pressure on Stafford. And then finally, I said, don't leave points on the board. Figured it was going to be a close game, and it was in the first half. Jake Elliott, 3 for 3 on his field goals, 4 for 4 on extra points. Sirianni, I thought, coached an excellent game. I think it read the game flow, and then I don't know what analytics would have said, but read the game flow and then made his decisions based on the game. He was fiery on the sideline, and that's the Nick Sirianni we want. Making smart decisions, having a little bit of fire, and being animated on the sidelines, not yelling at fans. So I think overall they played smart, didn't leave points on the field, made a couple good decisions with trying to draw the Rams off sides on 4th down, especially late in the game. But overall, what a game for the Eagles. And I think it's finally, and we've been kind of hinting around at it. We've been kind of talking about it. But I think it's time to say that this team is a bona fide Super Bowl contender. I think you got Jalen Hurts, and a lot of times this word is thrown around, and it comes off as like a negative connotation, but he's a good game manager. He makes plays when he has to. I don't necessarily need him to go out there and throw for 300 yards. And if you look at what Patrick Mahomes has been doing this season, he's been more of a game manager, letting his defense and making plays when he needs to. And that's what I think the quarterbacks in the NFL is. You don't have the pocket passers anymore. They're just going to stand back there and just pick your defense apart. They make plays. It's like an extra added weapon. So I know that it has this negative connotation, but Jalen Hurts over this 7-game win streak has been outstanding with his decision-making, making plays when he has to, making the right reads. Has he been perfect? No. But I think this team is legitimately a Super Bowl contender, currently in the 2nd seed in the NFC, tied with Minnesota, 1 game behind Detroit. We're just waiting for them to slip up. But like I said, good win. We will take it. We won our bet too, which is always good. Have a day to decompress here and then start getting ready for Baltimore. We talked a few weeks ago about the breaking the season into 4-game pods. They went 2-2, 4-0, and we said minimum they need to go 2-2 in this 3-game pod. They're already 3-0, so things are looking good in that. And we finished up this pod next week with the Ravens. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a great game and another sort of measuring stick game for the Eagles to see where they stand against one of the top teams in the AFC. 37-20, Eagles beat the Rams, which leads us into the question of the day. I mean, I don't think there's any. I mean, maybe we should pick the second GOAT because who was the GOAT of the game? I got it narrowed down to two. I think it's either Saquon or Jalen Carter for the way he was clogging up and eating up blockers. Obviously, it's likely going to be Saquon, but once you say Saquon is the GOAT, let me know who your backup GOAT is. Who's the second most important? You could go AJ, you could go Jalen, you could go Brandon Graham even for that matter. 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. But who was the GOAT of the game yesterday? And if you want, give me the second GOAT because we kind of all know who the first GOAT's going to be. But good win for the Birds. They are now 9-2, looking good. And like I said, I'm willing to say now officially they're a legit Super Bowl contender. Big game next week, but we'll see how that goes. All right, some quick housekeeping notes. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont at Twitter and TikTok, on Instagram, at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, at Jimbo_Mont. Continue to spread the word. This is a grassroots movement. We're continuing to grow this thing, and the sky is the limit. I'm working on some things in the background to try to improve different things. I have a lot of great ideas lined up for 2025. So just continue to spread the word, and thank you for listening. And then it's still not too late. We're shattering our mark from last year. The donations just keep coming in. I've got a couple that came in offline. Just $5 is all it takes. All this benefiting the Maddie and Dixon Community Cupboard. We will be running the gift card drive through Saturday, and then we will kick off the reverse advent calendar on Sunday. But give what you can, $5, $10, whatever you can. Let's help make some holiday magic, benefiting our friends and neighbors through the Maddie and Dixon Community Cupboard in Ambler. All the information you need is in the description, but it's not too late to donate. All right, it's also not too early to start doing your Christmas shopping. Philly Goat has another partnership lined up. Thunder Mud Coffee Roasters came out with a Green Sabbath Sunday breakfast blend. I haven't tried it yet, but all of the reviews are outstanding for this coffee. So buy a couple t-shirts, grab some coffee too. All the information you need is at phillygoat.com. When you go to checkout, be sure to use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. It's be a good gift to send to somebody like an aunt or an uncle or somebody you know that lives out of state that wants to support the Eagles. So go check out the Green Sabbath Sunday breakfast blend, courtesy of Thunder Mud Coffee Roasters. All of that is available at phillygoat.com. Use that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off. And then be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We do have some Phillies news. Apparently, they are meeting with Juan Soto. I couldn't find any of the details of the meeting. I think they have to do this. Whether or not it leads to them signing him, I don't know. But this is kind of one of those things that, the Phillies have to do this. So we'll see. I don't know. Lots going on. Again, the rumors are just out of control with what the Phillies are going to do. So I'm kind of taking, I could spend a whole half hour just breaking down each of the rumors. But right now, that's all they are. The owners' meetings are in a couple weeks, and I think we'll have more clarity sort of which direction they're going once that comes out. All right. It's obligatory that I have to talk about this, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I don't want to bring the high from the Eagles down. The Sixers did play yesterday, 6 o'clock down at the Wells Fargo Center. The team didn't show up. Joel didn't play, and they couldn't shoot. They had zero energy. They didn't play defense. This team stinks. They absolutely stink. 125-99. They got boat raced by the Clippers. At one point, they were down 30-some points. This team is terrible. Can't play defense, can't shoot, and really didn't show much heart at all yesterday. So, I don't know. Rockets, Wednesday night at 7, heading down to that game with the kids. My wife got tickets through work. We get to go on the court and see them warm up. Don't know whether we're going to see Paul George, Joel, or anybody, but still pretty cool experience. But yeah, Sixers stink. And it was funny because we watched with the kids last night before the game. The Eagles game, that is. We watched Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, and of course it opens up with Lucy telling Charlie Brown she's going to let him kick the football. And I'm like, and I picture like a meme or a GIF or GIF, whatever you say, on with my face on Charlie Brown's body and the Sixers on Lucy's body, because they got me again. They got me again. Flyers look to keep hot tonight against the Golden Knights down at the Wells Fargo Center. Mishkov Mania, hopefully he can bring some energy to that building, because the Sixers certainly did not have any. That does, however, lead us all in. I kind of went out of order here because I switched some things up after based on the game last night. But what are we thankful for all through Thanksgiving, or heading through Thanksgiving? We're talking about what we're thankful for in Philly sports, all in honor of our gift and fundraiser drive benefiting the Maddie Ann Dixon Community Cupboard. And today, we're thankful for Jalen Carter. This dude has become a force. He faces constant double teams. They showed the stat last night that like 70-80% of the time last night, the Rams were double teaming him. And when he wasn't double teamed, nobody can stop him one-on-one. But the fact that he gets double teamed opens things up for the rest of the defensive line. Milton Williams was the beneficiary of that last night. Had a sack, a couple nice plays. And, I mean, it is what it is. Like, you are that good that you're getting double teamed, but it's also helping your teammates out. He had a tough rookie year last year, showed some glimpses, but then kind of hit that rookie wall late in the season. Hard to really judge that, though, because the whole team kind of hit the wall last year. But he is a bona fide stud right now. He's, I would say, top 3 defensive tackle in the league right now. And he's only going to continue to grow, because eventually he's going to learn how to get out of double teams. And once he learns how to do that, look out, because he didn't really get much on the stat sheet last night. But what he meant to that defense last night, you can't measure on the stat sheet, because if it wasn't for him eating up blockers on double teams, they're not getting the pressure they did. It opened things up for the other guys to make tackles on runs. So Jalen Carter, you, my friend, are who we're thankful for today in Philly sports. And honestly, he reminds me of Jerome Brown. And Jerome Brown did a lot. The difference between, I think, Jalen Carter and Jerome Brown is, though, you couldn't really double team Jerome Brown, because then you're leaving like Mike Pitts or Clyde Simmons or Reggie White open. So not to take anything away from Jerome Brown, but I think if guys like Milton Williams and Oromo and those guys are going to start making their names and being like, fine, you're going to double team Jalen, we're going to make plays, I think teams are going to have to be forced to maybe not double team him. And then when he's not double teamed, dude is literally almost unstoppable. And he's only a year and a half into his career. So the future is bright for Jalen Carter. But Jalen Carter, that is who we're thankful for, because you are a bona fide stud, a grown man playing out there. So that's who we're thankful for. We're going to continue to say who we're thankful for leading up to Thanksgiving, all in honor of our gift and food drive. You can donate through the link in the description, and everything benefits the Maddie Ann Dixon Community Cupboard. All right, the St. Joe's women did lose the national championship game yesterday to Northwestern 5-0, but congrats on a great season and a good run, knocking off the number 1 seed, North Carolina. But St. Joe's women did lose yesterday to Northwestern. Not bad. Second place finish. One of their, it might be their best finish, I think, in team history. I will double check on that. But shout out to the women at St. Joe's. All right, today we are going to go back to 2007. And on this day in 2007, the 5-5 Eagles took on the 10-0 Patriots up in Foxboro and nearly pulled off the upset. If you remember, that 2007 was the year the Patriots just rolled through everyone and went undefeated all the way to the Super Bowl until the Giants beat them. What makes this even more of a shocker was they did it without Donovan McNabb. Donovan was hurt the week before against Miami. A.J. Philly came in and nearly pulled off the upset. The other key stat here is the Eagles came into this game, or wait for this, 24.5-point underdogs. And at the time, it was the biggest point spread for a team that was non-expansion. And they nearly pulled off the upset. They lost 31-28. It was the closest the Patriots had come to losing that season. They were basically, the Eagles were reeling, but the Patriots were unstoppable and almost pulled off the upset. AJ had 345 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, but had 3 interceptions, and that was the key. Tom Brady had 380 yards, but they limited him to 1 touchdown. Wes Welker torched the secondary, though. 13 catches for 149 yards. Future Eagles, Sante Samuel, had 2 interceptions, including a pick 6, and that was the difference in the game. But after the game is what kind of got crazy. There was a quarterback controversy with a lot of people saying AJ Phillies should be the starter once Donovan came back. Andy Reid said no. And that's kind of where we stood with that. But on this day, back in 2007, the Eagles lost to the Patriots 31-28. They had the lead going into the fourth quarter, almost handed the Patriots their first loss, and it really was the closest that they come to losing that entire season. We are thankful today for Jalen Carter for just being a bona fide stud and really just opening things up for the defense. Let's hope that continues because it's a tough one coming up on Sunday against the Ravens. We'll have more on the dumpster fire that is the Sixers. We'll update you on the Flyers. We'll have more on BG's injury tomorrow. But let's revel in the win. It is a victory Monday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for November 25th, 2024. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday. Enjoy the victory. And until next time, go Birds.